Hello and welcome to a series of interviews on the lead up to Tilt and Tap. I'm joined by one of the absolute legends of the Midlands scene, Ayorichie. How you doing, man? You right?
Doing good, thank you. Thanks for having me on, man.
No worries,
Appreciate it.
no worries, man.
Feels good to be here. Feels good to be here.
Lovely. So, I feel like you're one of the sort of players who just doesn't really need like an introduction. You know what I mean? Like, I think anybody who's been following like the sort of Tekken scene, especially the West Midlands Tekken scene, you know, you've already met you, already heard of you as well. They see you sign up to a local and they think, ah, for fuck's sake. They see you round two and they're just like, ah, great, okay. But you know, I've said
Yeah.
this to like everybody who's like been joining these interviews so far. You know, can you just tell us a little bit about your history with the game, how you kind of got involved with like the community, the sort of professional level that you play at, the FGC and all that?
So how I got involved in the game, it's a game that's just been in my family since like as long as I can remember. Like we had a Tekken demo disc like back in the day. I also had the luxury of having Tekken 4 on the PS2, which I don't know where it was bought. I don't know who bought it, but someone brought it into the house. So it's a game that was always just there. And then I think Dark Resurrection, because it was just another Tekken title on the PSP. I just wanted that game. And then after that game, I didn't really play Tekken for ages, like so long. And then I happened to like go to a family member's house once, and he had Tekken 6. So I started playing that like on his PS3, and that kind of brought me back into the Tekken again and wanting to play it and wanting to actually learn how to be good, because it became like, oh, me and my cousin would try and be the better player and all of that stuff. So that originally started the Tekken journey, I would say. Like that made me want to play. And then obviously I didn't own the game, so if I wanted to buy it, I bought it, enjoyed the single player aspect and everything. It was a really good game. And then Tekken went a bit silent for a bit. Tag 2, I guess. I remember I went shop and I saw that Tag 2 was in the stores. So I was just like, okay, let me get Tag 2. You know, it's another Tekken game, new Tekken title. Yo, I'm all over it. So then I started playing ranked games. That was my first online experience, and I just loaded into ranked, just kept playing and playing and playing. Um, and then yeah, eventually stopped playing, and then Tekken 7 comes out, and that was when people were like, because obviously my cousins are familiar with the game at this point, and they're like, "Oh, new Tekken, oh, I'm gonna be the best, blah blah blah, I'm gonna be the best." And I was just like,
You're
"Come
like,
on, man." So
hold your fucking
we,
horses here. Like, I'll show you what I'm gonna do.
I'm like, "Yo, look, like I'm the one that's been grinding ranked and all of this. Like, you lot are gonna have to take your time and get familiar with the game at least." But at this point, I'm thinking I'm sick. I'm so good, blah blah blah. But I don't know about this global scale of Tekken. Like, I don't know anything about Knee or any of this. I I guess I knew about JDCR because of Team Spooky's tournaments, because I would come across those sometimes on YouTube. But I wasn't actively trying to learn how to be good and all of this stuff. And yeah, early Tekken 7, I just remember playing bears and just like mashing buttons and just being the better masher
The true rite
amongst
of
the family.
passage. The true rite of passage. Just mashing the fucking bears against your cousins.
Literally. Because I played bears on Tag 2, so it was like a very easy transfer. Like their buttons didn't really change much. So I was just like, all right, cool. Play bears, cheesed them out a little bit. And then eventually, again, I didn't have the game. I was playing at a family member's house. So Shaiko Plays, who is a big last player in the UK, he became like the number one because he had the game. He was grinding it. And I just remember I was at my cousin's and we was on the phone to him, and I was like, listen, when I get this game, I'm going to catch up. I'm gonna be better. I'm telling you. I will never forget that. And then when I did get the game, we did play. He absolutely demolished me like 15-1. And he will never let it go. He will never let this die, even though there's a new Tekken game out now and everything.
Does he just casually chat to people and he's like, oh, you know, there's that guy Richie, like 15-0, 15-0 to me. Like
If he can, he will bring it up. If he can, he'll bring it up. Yeah. It doesn't matter how many times I beat him now, he'll bring it up, like without fail. But yeah, that was like the introduction, and then like it's a long journey, honestly. So apologies for how long this is, but
dude, take us long, you know.
I came across an online tournament. It was a Belong tournament, so those were quite popular online during I think season 3, and player called Sin who played Ganryu. Who else he played? Geese. He was quite a big name in Birmingham in the Midlands. I remember he beat me like 3-0 so easily. Like I just had no clue what the Ganryu was doing. And then he messaged me afterwards. He asked me where I'm from and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, we have a local that we go to and all of this and that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." You know, I didn't even know there was Birmingham players. I was just like, "All right, I'll come down." And then I went there, got absolutely annihilated by everyone. Uh, Discovered what whiff punishment was. Discovered what all these extra Tekken turns were. I was just like, "All right." You know, and I just got 10 odes, 10-2. I was just like, all right, this is the reality check that I needed because I am so far behind. Like, it was crazy. And those days I was TGP, which was like high rank, you know, the highest rank at the time. I was like, actually, was I? Wait. I might be remembering this. Yeah, I was. I was TGP and he was playing like his Fujin Ganryu. So I was like, okay, the heck? Like, I should definitely win. And I just got mopped. But then I found out that these guys play on PC.
Mm.
And PlayStation is just like, you know, the whatever platform, you know, people that play on PlayStation are the whack players, you know. So the PC guys were the main players, and yeah, I just found out about all these sick players from Birmingham and you know the whole UK, and then yeah, so I started going to offlines from that point. Started going traveling to London, to East London Fighters, where I kept going until eventually I got like some consistency with results. In fact, my first offline was actually Meltdown. I don't
Mm.
know if you know. Do you know about Meltdown
Oh yeah, I
in
know about
I
Meltdown.
think it's Finsbury Park. Yeah. So that was my first offline. I think I might have got top 8 or just ninth or something like that. And yeah, that had so many sick players, and that was my first taste of offline. And then yeah, the rest is I don't want to say the rest is history because there's more. There's just so much to the story. Do you know what I mean? Like, because the Golden Letters moment, that was the one
Mm.
that like just propelled my name out there for everyone. You know, I had everyone talking about it. Arslan Ash, all these guys, they were like, "Oh, this." Arslan Ash said so. There was a qualifying day, and he was like, "I'm pretty sure he said this Richie guy is going to win, or like this Richie guy is very good, or something like that."
Mm.
And that was just like, wow, that's crazy. You know, that's Arslan actually won Evo. You know, he's like at the highest possible level. So that was, yeah, that stuff like that was quite crazy.
What do you
And then,
do? What
yeah,
do you
that
do when like
trend,
someone says
that
that to
win.
you? You know what I mean? Like how can you kind of like react to that? Just seeing like a genuine goated player just say you're going places. It's just I couldn't imagine just being taken back by that. It's like I have to now. Now that you've said it, I have to absolutely do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you see something like that, it just, I don't think it puts pressure on you. If anything, it makes you feel like, okay, you belong. Do you know what I mean? You belong
Mm.
in this position, like to be competing with these guys. And yeah, something like that will only boost your confidence, I feel like. And then obviously I tried to make it, you know, a very regular thing to try and compete in these tournaments and do well. And I feel like I got to a level where I was pretty consistent in beating big names and stuff like that. So yeah, man, that Golden Letters tournament was just, it was just in these days, in this day and age, they call it a generational run, and yeah,
Mm.
it really was. Like, the names that were taken that day, it was pretty crazy. And I haven't really had a moment that high. I think that was my highest point in terms of the journey. And then obviously Tekken 8 came out, and Tekken 8, people love it, some people don't. It's just a bit of a mixed bag. It's a bit of a mixed bag
I,
compared to, you know, Tekken 7 and stuff.
I think that's a polite way of phrasing it, but like I was gonna say, because you know when you were listing off all the games that you mentioned that you started off, so when you said you started with Tekken 4, I was like, oh okay, like you start off with
Yeah.
arguably the most scuffed game in the franchise, and then you said what the
Yeah.
you said then what the PSP version of like was it Dark
Yeah.
Resurrection? So I'm like, oh
2.5.
okay,
Not Resurrection, yeah.
the PSP version, okay, fair enough, and then you mentioned Tag 2, and it's like, god damn, what's the universe done to you then? You know, what's the universe done to land you in those ones as well? But
Tag 2 was fun. As a casual, I was loving life playing Tag 2. I just remember I had so many teams, forever playing ranked online. Like it was so good, man. It was so good.
I've still yet to actually really touch Tag 2 as well. Like, never owned a Wii U, so I've never got the definitive version as well. Like, it just wasn't my kind of thing. Like back in the day, because like
Yeah.
a few people already know me. Like, I'm still pretty new to all this sort of stuff, you know. And like, I think a lot of like ex Smash players like me just jumped to Tekken 8 for some reason, and we all main King for some reason. But I don't know as well. I think it's
Yeah.
just a known meme. It's like we all main King, we all main Ken or Honda or Zangief or something like that in Street Fighter 6. I don't know as well. But
All the grapplers, all the grapplers.
Yeah, I don't even play a grappler in Smash, which is the weird thing. But anyways, like I'm glad
Yeah,
that you mentioned about the way Tekken 8 is as well, because like I feel like just as a passive observer, seeing Seven absolutely like bring the franchise back to where it should be, like on the world stage,
yeah,
and having a kind of rebound, almost similar to how Street Fighter 4 did for the franchise, like after 3, which is like considered a commercial gameplay, absolutely brilliant, but in terms of commercial and
yeah, yeah,
relevant success, and seeing 8 kind of change things in a way, obviously making a few things more accessible, changing a lot of fundamental elements of the
yeah.
game too, and definitely bringing a lot more people in. What was your kind of like starting journey for Tekken 8 like as well? Take it back to like the first few months of the game, season 1, whatever. What was
Yeah.
your kind of like journey adapting to that sort of change from 7 to 8 like?
So Tekken 8, I've never dived into a game as full on as I did with that game. Like when I was streaming, I would do like ridiculous hours, and people would just be in my stream like, "Bruv, why are you still on this game? Like, have a break, something like that." I'm just like, I am going crazy trying to get max rank. I'm absolutely loving the game for the first few months, and I was just enjoying it. I was competing. I was not getting the results that I wanted to get, and that was a bit annoying.
Mm,
I couldn't really figure out I couldn't really figure out the best way to play Tekken 8. Um, I I was a bit deluded in the sense that like I always felt like my character was good, but I was losing, so I couldn't put my finger on what the issue was. Like I never
mm,
would be like, oh, it's my character, it's my character, it's my character. And then it's like later down the line, like maybe like a year later, I just got to a point where I was like, you know what, nah, maybe my character's not as good as I thought, type thing, because it just felt so hard to win. And then in season 2, now that my character's good, I'm just realizing how easy it is to win when you have a good character behind you
mm.
if you're a good player. So yeah, the beginning phase was definitely interesting. I enjoyed streaming it, but competitively offline, I just didn't know what was happening. Just didn't know how to get the results, and just felt like I was a step behind most of the UK players like Kane and Trench, Joker, and all those guys. Took me a while to get my foot in. I went Sweden,
Mm.
and I feel like I did well. Like I played against Morgold, and I was a round away from winning that set. And I know what I did wrong, and if I didn't make that mistake, my whole journey for Tekken 8 could have been completely different because I would have been like one win away from maybe an EWC spot or something. And like, if you get that EWC spot, that is like, bro, the whole trajectory of your journey just changes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
There's like
that EWC spot is crazy.
there's nothing worse than like when you can like you visibly remember a moment where you fucked up. There's nothing worse than that
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
can probably
Yeah, that will
visualize
never leave.
I could have done this move and won, but you just didn't.
Yeah,
Like
I literally just needed to hold back. I just needed to hold back and block punish his hop kick, but I did back, and he caught me, and
oh, he caught you.
yeah,
Oh,
like he caught me between the back input, which is just insane. Like it's just so unlucky, but
literally just held one but
yeah,
hold one button. That's all. Yeah, everyone's got that as well. Like we're hardly on our own on that front as well. But like one thing that I'm a
yeah,
bit curious about, when it comes to how you mentioned as well, you play the game a lot. You play for hours and hours and hours, and you've obviously got
yeah.
the drive to get better at the game as well. How is it that you find maintaining focus with the game? How is it you just try and keep yourself focused? Because there's obviously days where you don't feel like, I just don't really feel like
Mm,
playing it at the moment. You might just want to dick
yeah.
around on some other games. Like I've been meaning to just play Tekken 8 a bit more, but I just keep on getting distracted by Rayman Legends. You know what I mean? How is it that you get that little? How is it you get that little bit out, being like, no, you need to just keep focusing and just crack on and grind?
I feel like with this game, it's pretty difficult to be like that. Like it's very difficult to stay locked in on the game. I think the way that I kind of prepared myself for anything was like I would just watch gameplay of someone else playing my character and just try and get fresh ideas from that. But I feel like this has been a problem for me because when it comes to Leo, there isn't many top level Leos, so it's like I can't. take too much away from some of the stuff people are doing, and some of the stuff I'm seeing might not work for me. Do you know what I mean? So, but like, yeah, that was it really. I just watched gameplay. I would say more so than play, and that would keep the game fresh for me.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think the replay thing where you can kind of just watch everyone's games and stuff like that. That's been a good way of just staying focused and just, I guess, staying on track with like what are the best things to utilize and stuff like that. You know, if I ever stop playing for a extended period of time.
Mm. Mm. I think this is something. It's something that I've touched on before with like a few of the other like interviews for this series, and it's also a thing like we've touched on when it comes to just how you get into games in general. Like the
Yeah,
the game that I used to sweat it out, like not with my cousins, but like with my, you know, you've got some like, you know how like your mum's got a friend who's like your auntie, and you're kind of like their cousins with their kids
yeah,
and all that stuff. It was fucking
yeah. It's literally that was literally what I was explaining earlier. Literally the
exactly, you
same
know what I
thing.
mean? Like you've got like if it's not your brothers or your cousins, it's your mum's friends or whatever else. You're there for the whole day. They're all having a
Yeah,
barbecue.
yeah, yeah,
You're playing Budokai 3. That was my fucking game.
yeah. No, facts.
But like the the thing that I kind of appreciate now, like, and it's I think it's overall better for like people getting into fighting games now, is that the resources that new players have is just brilliant. You like, you know, you can just, you know,
Yeah,
if you want to pick up Feng, how do you play Feng? I don't know. If you're playing like some of the older games back when we were doing it as young kids, you find out the hard way. You genuinely just find out the hard
yeah,
way. You'll go to a local and then you'll actually meet somebody who knows what they're doing. Nowadays, you could argue whether this is better or not because you can just look up a guide and you can just watch, you know, watch other content creators, watch other players. You know, here's how you play the character. Here
yeah.
is the game plan as well. I think there's some people who go, "Oh, this we had to learn it the hard way and all that stuff," but like, I think it's got to be better for the community when the knowledge is just out there, isn't it? When you can just go,
Yeah,
how how,
literally.
how do I learn how do I learn how to block this move? Is it sidestep? Yeah, it's sidestep right. Perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, all of the information is there, and it definitely wasn't there before. So it's a big change, and yeah, newcomers. I mean, they wanted their game to be for newcomers. So many new players are doing really well in Tekken in general, online at tournaments. So yeah, man, all the information, the guides, coaching, everything's just out there now, man. It's crazy. But like you said, yeah, before you'd have to meet up with people like I did, and they'll have to whoop you like 10-0, 15-0, whatever the case may be, and then you'll start learning, and they'll tell you about all these little terms and things like that that you should start practicing. And yeah,
Because
it's
my
mad. You really realize that you're not good, and yeah,
because you can guarantee my dumbass didn't know what the hell star meant when you look up like the notations and all that. It's like, where's the star button on this PlayStation controller? Like, what the fuck? What do you mean it means no buttons? What's
yeah, like yeah, I don't know.
what's been some of your like
Carry on, sorry.
you mentioned like gold golden letters as like, you know, just in a pre-chat earlier about like some that was a big turning point for you as well. Are there any other kind of like big events that you've been? I know you've obviously been to America recently. Are there any other
Yeah.
sort of like larger events that have like really upped your game as a player, or have just like upped the game in general when it comes to like events and the FGC and that?
Uh, I would say Evo is like my performance at Evo was quite insane because I got ninth, and that's like what I was one win away from being in the arena and stuff like that, which was it's crazy.
Mm,
To just to have been in that scenario. Obviously, I didn't get in there, but it's just like wow. Out of how many players that traveled over there, the amount of money spent, and all of that, like traveling and going to America and stuff like when you're paying, some out of your own money and stuff like that. It's a risk, isn't it? So yeah, just the fact that I put myself in that position to potentially get into that spot and become a legend of the game is
mm,
absolutely insane. So just getting results like that, and then also Tiger uppercut, I got eighth, top eight. Just yeah, I think that Tiger uppercut result was so mad because I think historically, when it comes to Europe and America, like it's very hard to place well at tournaments in Asia
mm.
because there's just so many insane Asian players in fighting games, isn't it? So I'd say yeah, that Tiger uppercut one was like yeah, that was just like yo, like you're doing your thing type thing, you know, you're beating Pakistani players and stuff like that. And those were, you know, arguably the best region,
Mm,
Pakistan.
mm-hmm.
So, and it was literally their top players. So it's just like, yeah, that was like, yo, I'm putting in the work and just getting rewarded for it, you know. So yeah, I think from there. But yeah, I haven't really had that moment in Tekken 8. Yeah, I feel like I'm playing very well, but it's just like the game's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like I don't know what the best way to play the game is. I just spam strong moves and sometimes it wins me tournaments, sometimes it doesn't. But these aren't big scale tournaments. These are just like, you know, locals and
Mm,
maybe a bit bigger locals, I guess, if I go to like Manchester and stuff like that. So
mm, mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, like it's not against like Ulsan and Arzanash and you know the top names.
Mm,
And even the top names in UK, I'm yet to win a tournament versus the likes of Gosei and Kane and
mm.
Trench and those guys. So yeah, but it's Tekken 8 is just weird. There's nothing else I can say other than it's weird. I don't know how to measure skill. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it's just weird
I think like
because
the thing is that I've known, and like I think we're on pretty opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of skill. You know what I mean? Like I'll go out to a local. I play the game every few days or so as well, and you're one of the best players in the country and all that. But the fact that we can both look at season two and go, "This isn't it," like it kind of speaks for
yeah.
just the you know, it's like, you know, if you go on to like any other game as well, I'm talking about any other game. Granted, I know that if you either run tournaments or if you enter them, you care more about the game
Yeah.
than others by default anyway. You know, there's probably there's obviously millions of people who picked up the game, haven't played it since when it released, whatever odd. But when you've got people at like complete opposite ends of the skill level saying this doesn't quite feel right, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a way I feel kind of cheaped out because like I thought, oh, this is the game I'll be taking proper seriously soon. You know, I thought, oh yeah, this
Yeah.
is you know, I'm like hitting like blue ranks. You know, I feel okay. I feel pretty all right in myself. And this is the game that ends up with like the worst patch in the history of fighting games ever. Like,
It's insane.
I just can't. I genuinely think I'm unlucky sometimes. You know what I mean? And then what happens? Like when I think, oh, you know what? I'll go to Street Fighter. Ken gets nerfed into the ground. Like fuck this. Fuck this off.
Can't catch a break.
Oh no,
Can't catch a
no,
break, man.
I don't want to join. I don't want to pick up another fighting game in case they nerf that thing into oblivion as well. But like, what are your
Yeah.
like? You know, we've obviously had the most recent character drop vacuum round. We've obviously got the most recent patch. We know that we're not going to be seeing any sort of major, major updates for the remainder of the year. Are there any sort of
Yeah.
very specific changes that you would like to see implemented as well? Like maybe not necessarily revert back to season one because that was better, but like what kind of things
Mm.
do you think are top of your priorities for just this will make the game better for everybody involved?
For just from the top of my head, I would say like, for instance, I have to give the example with my character because it's the easiest. But basically, when your character has heat, they get multiple access to their heat moves and their
Mm-hmm,
install attacks. So like, I can just literally do a +9 on block move and then just basically spam my low heat smash. It's not a heat smash, but it's like a low heat move
yeah.
now. Like I can use that up to 3 times. And the one time you duck for it, I could have done the heat smash that wall splats. So that situation on its own, anybody that plays Tekken from red rank all the way up to the top ranks can do that to me on block. Like anybody. So in a tournament setting, anybody can beat me because of that reason. Do you know what I mean? Like that's very silly. I don't think I should be losing because they just throw out a very good button and the situation after I've guessed right and blocked is ridiculous. And then like if I block the mid heat smash, I have to guess again. Like I'm like -8 or I'm -16. So it's just like I'm holding back to block for so long. And then combo wise, there needs to be a reduction on the length of combos. Because like if you look at even Tekken 7, which was a game that some people loved, some like it's not as like controversial as Tekken 8, but like a lot of people liked it. Some people obviously didn't. but like the combos in that game were not that long. Like they did not go on,
Mm.
heat burst, strong aerial tailspin, carry to the wall, tornado on the wall. Like you couldn't do all this extra stuff that Tekken 8 is doing. So the combos were naturally a lot shorter, and I think people enjoy that experience a lot more.
I think
Um, I guess yeah, just those two really combos and like just the situations on block, and maybe just heat, some kind of balance to heat in terms of like for install characters. So
mm,
like Brian, Leo. Um, I don't know how they're gonna balance characters like Jun, where they have like the build up
yeah.
meter thing, like the medal system thing, and then obviously Heihachi's Warrior Instinct, where he just becomes a boss character for one round. Lydia, free stacks, she just becomes absolutely unbearable to play against because some of her stuff knocks down into 50-50s while I'm on the ground. And I'm just like, all right, man.
Mm.
There's a lot to change. There's a
GG's.
lot for them to change, honestly. Yeah, like it's so dumb. She knocks you down at -14. I can't launch her, but if it hits, she then gets another 50-50 that is low risk. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, and recovers HP if she does the ground pound. Like I'm just lost. I'm so lost that characters can have this and anybody can just do it. Anybody can do it. Like they might not have a good neutral game, but they can land that one situation that wins them a game.
I think
So it's
like
just like yeah,
the one thing that like, and this kind of applies a bit towards like outside of just fighting games, the way that I kind of see the length of combos in this game, I completely agree with you. Like, it's that the length is annoying because you've made a wrong mistake, or
yeah,
or your opponent has rightly called out you have it. All right, you should eat some damage, fine. But the bit that's frustrating, like on a more mental level, is the time taken between you making the mistake and you being able to make up for your mistake. That's it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think like regard
yeah,
like if you're there for 50, if you're there for like 15, if you've got enough time to like get some biscuits out of the box, dip it into your tea and take a bite out of the biscuit and the combo's not done. That's
yeah,
it's non-interactive time and it's completely like dead in the water. It's like
yeah,
it's a bit of a weird comparison, but like old hard arcade games like Super Meat Boy, the difference between you making a
yeah,
mistake and then jumping straight back in and making the next move is like a few seconds.
yeah,
And
yeah, instant.
different kind of genre, and I appreciate that as well. Other sort of like games, like if you get a throw loop in Street Fighter, you're arguably just caught in that sort of like cycle for fucking ages as well. But
Yeah,
definitely shorting down the combo length. I mean, there's been some talk about how to balance heat, as in limiting it to like once per game, or is it like a
mm,
resource that should be earned? Similar to like how other games
yeah,
build
yeah,
a meter as well. I mean, we're hardly like we're hardly like game designers, and like when it comes to balancing the game, I mean, fucking Bandai Namco are barely like game designers at this point. But hey, um, it's
yeah,
annoying because like I've seen some very minor steps in the right direction, but you know what? It's the game we got for the time being, and like I'm still having fun with it. Like I think one thing
yeah,
that really makes me like proud of this community is that even though it's universally agreed to just be a bit of a misstep, there's still the community holds strong in times like this. Like you see locals still doing really well. You still see it being one of the more popular
yeah, yeah,
fighters. Like it still pulls in quite good numbers, and that's kind of where the heart of the community is. You know what I mean? It's like even when things are rough,
yeah, yeah,
you pull together. You still have a respect for the game. You still love going out and just like going to events with each other and all that. I think that's where the heart of the community kind of really lies. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there is a strong togetherness in like most scenes. Um, but yeah, like just I feel like it is a little bit different to Tekken 7 Days. But like it's still yeah, you're right. Like the local communities and stuff try their best to run the tournaments and then the people come together and try and help out and yeah. I do feel like the game because of how big the game is, I do feel like locals should be a bit more populated, I guess, but I think that's just Tekken 8 kind of failing in a way. But yeah, it's just yeah, it's weird.
Mm. Are there any
It's
sort of
weird. But yeah, I hear it. I do hear it. There are people helping out and stuff.
Are there any sort of like, because we already know the rest of like what season 2 is going to look like in terms of characters and all that. We've got Armor King, the goat coming back like in 3-ish months or so. We got the
Yeah.
brand new character. We've got no idea. They're going to be completely new to the franchise. Is there anyone like you're really hoping is going to return like in the next season, or you just like to see back in the game at any given point during the game's life cycle?
Uh, I was a fan of fighting Negan. I'm not gonna lie. Like out of all the characters that aren't in the game, I
Fucking Negan.
really enjoyed fighting Negan. I'm serious. Like if they put Negan into another character, like maybe the original character or something, I would be fine with that.
Oh, do you
Like
mean do you mean like the move set as in the kind of like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, okay, because like I remember watching that reveal just thinking, fuck me, man, like just it's not even from a video game, like it's just
Yeah, 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 yeah. It is a bit bizarre, but like later on in the game's lifespan, once he was like, you know, in the game for a long period of time and balanced and all of this stuff, he was quite a fun character to play against, in my opinion. So yeah, a character like Negan could be interesting. But other than that, I don't really care for Marduk, Julia, all these characters. These characters are ridiculously dumb. Kunimitsu, whoever else, like Lei Wulong, like none of these characters are fun. None of them. Like Ganryu, just down forward 2 and down forward 3. Like yeah, I don't know. Roger Jr. was a bit dumb. They're all dumb. But Negan was kind of
did he hit the
all
line?
right. He was all right to deal with.
He hit the line for you where it's
I
just
guess
like, all right, yeah, I can respect this.
okay, maybe Bob. Maybe Bob. Bob was a very fun character to play. Not play against, but to play. So yeah, maybe Bob. Bob can come back.
I could see Bob being like a pretty welcome return. Honestly, I can see that being like a pretty like
Yeah,
well received character back in, because like Bob was in 7. Was he in 6 too, or was he just in 7?
he was. Yeah, yeah. He was in 6, tag 2, and 7.
I really need to dig out Tag 2 one of these days, because everyone keeps on going saying, "Oh yeah, the game's mega underrated." Like it's actually like
It's
it.
fun. Very fun game.
It was probably just a great game for the wrong time. Because is it the worst selling in the series? I think it's got to be one of the worst, if not the worst. Selling, of
They
course.
always say that the game almost killed the franchise or something like that. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I was a very casual player, but it was fun to me. Maybe the competitive scene might have dried up a bit. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I thought the game was fun. But
But
most people say the game's really hard to learn because you have to learn 2 characters, you have to learn their combo routes together, and all of this extra stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
bust out the Wii U, because that, of course, that's the definitive edition, isn't it? Like for some reason, the definitive edition's on the Wii U, a game that nobody bought on release, on a console that nobody bought at the time. But
Yeah,
hey,
no one had. I didn't have a Wii U. I was just playing on 360. So
it's
yeah.
sound right. It's been lovely chatting to you, but that's all we got time for, I'm afraid. Is there any like anybody or any sort of like thing that you want to shout out as well? Because like I'll be linking everything that you want in the description for this video when it goes up. Anything or anyone you want to shout out?
I guess shout out, Wolverhampton tournaments, the thing that you're running. Shout outs to BC Foundry in Warsaw. I think the local around this area is like really just active in it, like,
Hmm.
with your Smash players, I'm sure they're populating a lot of their events, and then the Tekken stuff in Warsaw it's just really fun. And it's good to have a local, just an offline where you can just go out and do something different on your in your day-to-day life. Do you know what I mean? So it's unfortunate it's not as it's not weekly, but I'm all right with the 2 week thing as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, maybe subject to change. Who knows? Maybe it becomes a weekend thing, and I don't know. But social media, Twitch, Ayorichie, so Ayorchie. Twitter, Ayorichie_98. My YouTube is just Ayorichie as well. Um, yeah, that's it. In terms of that. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on, man. This was it was good to it's good to talk about the game and just be questioned about what I do and stuff like that. I always enjoy it, so I'm happy to take part in this interview, man. So yeah, I appreciate it, man.
No worries. Take care, bud.